Hello, my name is Anthony Keller, and I'm that deacon on YouTube. Well, as I said last time, I'm on my sabbatical, and I've been diligently working on my project that I've decided to take on for my sabbatical. I'm about 25 minutes fully composed and orchestrated. I'm probably just at the halfway point for the work. And when I worked much of my life in the creative arts, I've chosen a field that was collaborative. When I worked in dance, you had to have a group of dancers or you were involved in some sort of production. When I work in music, especially in composition, it's usually involves some sort of ensemble. And there's no way I could share with you the work I'm doing right now because it involves about a 60-piece orchestra and about a 50-voice choir. I don't think I can fit those people in my tiny apartment, but hopefully one day, it will be performed, and then I can share it with the rest of the world. Every 3 years, the Episcopal Church meets as a national church for its triannual convention. I know a number of deacons from our diocese are there, and there are deacons, priests, and lay people from all over the nation assembling together in Salt Lake City. I wish them all the best, and thank you for doing the work of our church. I hope some exciting things come out of this convention. We also elect a new presiding bishop who will be elected and then serve as presiding bishop for the next 9 years. I also have one wish for our deacons who are participating. If the Spirit so moves, I hope there's an instance where you can rattle the trunk of the tree a bit so that the branches may also move. When murders of this magnitude take place, the cry for solutions is clear and normally pointed towards legislators and their inability to pass laws or ordinances to make it more difficult for these type of atrocities to occur. People wonder why an obviously distraught and mentally ill individual would be allowed to own a gun, or why his father gave it to his son as a gift. Clearly, there is room for thoughtful and direct legislation, but these types of laws can't and won't lead society to the promise of transformation. Transformation begins when we realize that we as a people are no longer interested in firearms as a means of our own identity as individuals or a nation. Transformation begins when we realize that freedom is more than an opportunity for self-indulgence, and that self-indulgence begets confrontation. Freedom allows us to look toward the common good and safety of our neighbors. Freedom means that we realize that when one person bites and devours another, we risk falling into a mindset that will eventually devour and consume each other as our enemies. As some point fingers, let us all begin by holding up a mirror to look at ourselves. Do we seek good or evil? If we seek good, how can we as a people transform our nation consumed with guns into a nation committed to life, offering help to our neighbors? and taking the time to redefine and enlarge our definition of who our neighbors really are. Last week, my partner and I took a road trip. We love taking road trips when we can. And for the past 3 years now, we've driven to Cambria, California. It's about 6 miles from Hearst Castle, and it's this tiny little arts community near the ocean. There's a lot of shops, there's some quaint restaurants. It's just the perfect place to unwind. But while we were on this road trip, when I'm driving around on our road trips and I find out that there's a mission in the area, I try to stop by and take a look at the mission, because there are 21 missions in California that were started when Spain had this land. And they are a part of our heritage in California. So I try to at least visit one when I can. As luck would have it, there were 2 in the area of our visit to Cambria. And later on in this video, I will show you a little video montage of what we saw. We also went up to Big Sur for a day drive and just drove around this majestic, beautiful, stupendous drive up in Big Sur, California, which spans about 80 to 100 miles. We also stopped for a neat place for lunch that I was able to share in video with you. So at the end, I'll share that. God bless and be well. Bye-bye. Here is Mission San Miguel. The interesting thing to note is that the mission has never been restored, and you're looking at something that has survived almost 200 years, especially the work in the chapel, the work on the walls with the natural pigments that the Indians, the Chumash Indians, had painted. Next, we went to La Purísima Mission. What you're looking at in front of you right now is the actual Camino Real, the road that stretched all the way from San Diego to San Francisco, and it eventually became Route 1. This was a huge ranch at one point with 12,000 cattle and thousands of horses, and you get this sense at this state historic site, this living museum, of what it might have looked like, more so than missions that have now been installed in a city. This led the way to Big Sur. This is like 100-mile stretch of coastline that you're able to drive in California to view these beautiful vistas with these rugged and ragged coastlines, the waves hitting the rocks. You never know how the weather is going to change from one moment to the next, especially in June, where fog will all of a sudden roll in. We stopped at a place further inland, but still on Route 1, where you sit outside at this restaurant, and they have tables facing the vistas, a long counter where you can just sit and stare out at the nature around you and all of the beauty. Big Sur is truly a magical and wonderful spot that allows you to see the majesty and the wonder of nature all around